What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be starting a two-part video series. The first part is going to be building a fundamental grip with your handgun, and the second is going to be finding the red dot on your Carry Optics handgun. A lot of people out there are switching over to the red dot world and they are struggling to find that dot. So one of the most important parts of finding your red dot is having a fundamental grip. That's why it's going to be a two-part video. Guys, stay tuned. I hope you like it. Let's jump into it. Alright guys, I want to start this video off by saying that having a good grip on your handgun isn't necessarily going to make you more accurate inherently. However, it will make you more accurate consistently, and it's going to also make you a little bit faster on the range. Alright, so let's dive into building this grip. A little bit of terminology, guys. This is the backstrap here. This is the beaver tail of the handgun. So first thing you're going to be doing is taking your dominant hand and getting it as high up on the beaver tail as you can. You don't necessarily want it over the top of it, but you want it as high in there as you can get it, like that. What I see a lot of people doing is, one, they're doing a teacup grip like this, which is completely wrong, but they're also holding on to the handgun way down here like this, which when you fire and that slide comes back, it creates a lever or leverage to bring the muzzle of the gun up higher, which you don't want. You want it to reciprocate straight back with as little muzzle flip as possible, because the less time that this muzzle is up in the air, the more time or the faster you can shoot. So you are staying on target a lot more and getting your shots and your splits closer together. So we're building up high into the backstrap and beaver tail of the handgun with your dominant hand. I index my finger up here on the side of the frame until I'm ready to shoot. And then this strong hand thumb is up high out of the way. The reason for that is I'm going to be bringing my support hand in underneath like that, and then my thumbs are going to ride on top of each other like this. So again, coming in high, index, keeping this thumb up and out of the way, bringing my support hand in, and then my goal here is to get as much of this exposed grip covered as possible with my support hand. So the meaty portion of my support hand is going to come in like this, and thumb is going to index in the same spot as where my other finger is on the other side of the frame, keeping this thumb up and out of the way. Now, you guys have a knuckle or a large knuckle on your thumb, and then you have this meaty spot here. Everybody's hands are different, but for me, I like to put this thumb right in the little gap between the knuckle and that meaty portion of your thumb or your palm. So just like that, it just nestles in like this. I'm getting as much of that grip covered with my support hand as possible, like that. Now, on the other side of the handgun, all these fingers are coming underneath. They're not grabbing the front of the trigger guard. They're just coming underneath like this. It's really splitting hairs whether you put these fingers in the creases of your dominant hand or whether you put them on top. Again, splitting hairs. Find what's comfortable for you guys and just make it repetitive. That's the biggest thing. So bringing it in, support hand comes in like this. So now I'm going to get into the portion that makes this grip effective, and that's actually the pressure that you're putting on the handgun. First thing to note is that when you are gripping the handgun with your dominant hand, do not grip side to side or what I call crab style like this. You're going to be gripping like you're gripping a pair of pliers, like this. So gripping tight front to back, like that. So grip it in hard, and then when you bring your support hand in, the pressure that you put in is like breaking a wishbone or pulling pliers apart like this. So again, pliers for reference, the pressure is kind of this direction, like that. Your arms might flare up a little bit. Try to keep your elbows down as much as you can. If they come up a little bit, that's fine, but that tension is right in there like that. So front to back, pliers grip, and then that pressure in like this. In building this fundamental grip on your handgun and having that good pressure, what you're going to do is, again, reduce the recoil or muzzle flip of the handgun. That way, your eyes are going to find the sights whenever it comes back down, boom, 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 much faster than if it's loose and the gun is taking forever to come up and then come back down, come up, come back down. It's a more linear movement of the slide with less muzzle rise. All right, guys, last but not least, it's not grip related, but it's definitely going to affect how quickly you're shooting, or at least your accuracy, which is your trigger pull. Now, I want to be very cautious in the way that I say this. I'm not going to tell you that you have to use the tip of your finger or the middle of your finger, what have you. Depending on the size of your hands and the size of your fingers, that's going to dictate how and where you're indexing the trigger with your finger, whether that's more fingered through the trigger guard or less. I use less. I like to use the pad or the tip of my finger like this. But the biggest thing to keep in mind is that your trigger squeeze is straight back like this. What you want to avoid is any type of pressure that you would put on the trigger that's going to alter the direction of your muzzle. So for me, with the shape of my hands or the size of my hands, if I use the fingertip or the pad of my finger, I get a more straight back pull. If I put more of my finger through the trigger guard, I tend to squeeze and turn the gun like this. So again, everybody is different. Find what works for you, but the biggest thing to keep in mind is that that trigger pull is straight to the rear like this, to where you're having the least amount of input on the muzzle of the gun as possible. One way to practice this in dry fire is to put like a penny or something small on your slide after you've already racked it, and then break off your trigger without the object falling off the muzzle of the gun. If you can combine a good straight back, low input trigger pull with a good fundamental grip on your handgun, you guys are going to see improvements in accuracy and speed out there on the range. That's it, guys. That is how to grip a handgun. If you have any questions or comments, drop them down below. Stay tuned for part 2, where I'm going to go over red dots on your handgun and how to find those. Spoiler alert, one of the biggest steps to finding your dot is having that fundamental grip. Stay tuned, guys. Keep shooting.